everybody. How are you today? This is Kristin with the Craft Fair Collective. Welcome. Glad that you're all joining in today. Over the next few videos, we're going to be talking about the differences in being a hobbyist and being a small business owner. We're going to be looking at if those differences matter and kind of helping you figure out which category you're in and maybe which direction you want to go. So it's a deceptively simple question, but there's really a lot of nuance and gray area in there, especially maybe if you are a hobbyist who are trying to transition into being a small business owner. Then that can be really difficult figuring out where that point is on the spectrum, where the switch gets flipped and where you move from being a hobbyist to being a small business owner. So I'm going to refer to my notes for a second. We're going to go ahead and define hobby. It's an activity regularly done in one's leisure time for pleasure. So that's pretty self-explanatory there. It's something that we do in our off time aside from our main type of work, and we do it because we enjoy it. So let's start off by saying as well that not everybody who sells their creations at art shows or craft festivals has to be a business owner. You can be a hobbyist attending these events. Just because you enjoy getting your product out in front of people, you enjoy getting the feedback, your house would be taken over by your product if you weren't selling it somewhere. So these can be a great outlet for hobbyists and small business owners alike. But again, the way that we approach those two are going to be very different. So let's go ahead and look at some of the differences between the two. Again, some of these are going to be very obvious and some of them are a little more subtle. So let's face it, we definitely do need hobbies. Most of us have a hobby because it's fun, because it's relaxing, it's distracting, or it feeds some part of our psyche or soul. It's different than what we do for work. And in that sense, it's something that is more, hopefully we enjoy our work, but a hobby is something that we do more for ourselves, not for somebody else, okay? So when you have a hobby, it's something that you often pursue as inspiration strikes. You pursue it in a very casual way that doesn't impose a lot of restriction on the way you pursue it. Another key difference here is as a hobbyist, you don't have to be particularly good at your hobby. As a small business owner, of course you do, or you won't be in business for very long, but the hobbyist can pursue something simply for the enjoyment of it. For example, I enjoy baking. I am not very good at it. I'm a good cook, but I'm not very good at baking. Go figure. I can't work those two out. So I do keep trying though. I hope that I'm getting better, refining my skills at baking, but I'm not necessarily going to make a business out of it because I don't know that a whole lot of people would like to buy cakes on a regular basis that I'm making. So you don't, again, have to be particularly good at your hobby to enjoy it. Also, when you recognize that your pursuit is a hobby, turning a financial profit isn't necessarily a priority. You may be making income off of that hobby, but the difference in income and profit can be very vast. For example, you might be selling your knitted goods perhaps, but really just selling the goods pays for more materials to make more goods. So it's sort of a self-sustaining type thing, which in a creative hobby can be a good thing because a lot of these creative hobbies, as you know, can get very expensive. So having a hobby that supports itself financially is nice, but just because you're bringing in income doesn't necessarily mean you're bringing in profit after all of your overhead has been factored in. So let's now contrast that with a business mindset, which again is very different from the hobbyist mindset. The focus of a business is not pursuing something that's pleasurable, a pleasurable activity. Now, as a creative business owner and someone who probably made the choice to run a creative business, I certainly hope that you are enjoying what you're doing, but let's just face it, there's going to be tasks that you're going to do as a small business owner that are just not enjoyable, that have to be done simply because they're part of running a business. Also, the focus of the business, like I said, is not the pursuit of enjoyment or pleasure. It is the pursuit of profit. We talked earlier about the difference between income and profit. As a small business owner, what we're gunning for, what we're aiming for is that profit. We want to be financially making money from the activity. So that kind of sounds a little harsh. It might sound a little cold, but that's simply the truth. We need to be generating profit. We need to be focusing on generating profit as a small business owner, where that's not necessarily the primary function or goal of a hobbyist. When you're running a small business, you can also no longer afford to be casual about the pursuit of that particular activity. For example, you have to be strategic about all of the activities and all of the investments, be it time, financial, or emotional, that you put into your business. You also have to be goal-oriented. You need to have a clear picture of where you're going, where you want to go, and you need to have action steps to get you there. You have to also perform the tasks necessary to get you there. And again, we talked earlier about how not all of those tasks are going to be things that you love or enjoy as much as your primary craft. But you will have to wear many hats as a business owner, not simply the role of artisan or creator. And as a reminder, you have to be good at what you do as a small business owner, not simply enjoying it, but actually have to be good at it. Because if you are creating a product that's not technically sound, that's not going to be durable, that's not going to be able to be reproduced in a consistent manner, you're not going to hold on to your customers for very long. So you do have to be good at what you're doing as a small business owner, and that's not a requirement as a hobbyist. So here's your task. I want you to go ahead and review the differences that we talked about and kind of try to decide where you land. There's no right or wrong answer to this. There's value in both being a hobbyist and a small business owner, but they're run very differently, and you're not going to be successful at one unless you know which category you fall into. Maybe you are a hobbyist turning into a small business owner. You have to shift that mindset. Maybe you're already a small business owner who was previously a hobbyist, and you're still running your small business as a hobbyist would, and that's not viable. That's not going to be something that's going to produce the results you want. So next time we're going to delve a little bit deeper into the business mindset and look at a couple of the critical factors that are going to play a big role in whether or not that business is successful or not. In the meantime, if this video was helpful to you and you think it could be helpful to someone else, make sure you share it. Also, click the like and subscribe buttons. And if you haven't done it yet, head over to our Facebook group. We have a vibrant community there of people just like you who are looking for answers and looking to share the information they have with other people who may be just starting out as craft show vendors. We'd love to see you over there. The link is below this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.